Hi, everybody. We are continuing through Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. We just finished our second batch of chapters, chapter 17 through 39. Did I get that right? 17? Yes. 17 through 39. We finished the second half of part one.
36. Oh,
36?
it's because I said 39 earlier.
17 through 36. If you went past part two, you went too far. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to chat about those chapters. So if you haven't read those chapters yet, go read them, then come back and chat with us. And yeah, we realize there's a lot to talk about. So I don't know if anybody has anything in particular they just want to like get out of their system like right away.
I don't know how like hot off the presses are we going? Like, is it too much to say Liam was definitely real?
Go with your heart. Just go with your gut,
My
Elena.
my heart is Liam is not dead. I mean, Liam is dead, but Liam's ghost spirit thing very much alive.
Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it because I think in the last episode, possibly one of our Fourth Wing episodes, I think I had said that I did not yet have a trust issue with Rebecca in terms of believing her if characters were dead, and I definitely have a trust issue now. So I'm assuming everyone is alive, including hallucination Liam. Elena, tell us how you feel.
Well, I just wanted it to be known that I don't think he's a hallucination. In no world do I read him as a hallucination.
Yes. Jamie, how do you feel?
I think he's a hallucination.
All right. So we get it's 2 to 1. Why do you think that Liam is a hallucination?
No one else saw him in the room.
That's true.
That's my own.
He could be a ghost.
Could be a ghost.
I
Okay,
feel
this was like how that's a confusing statement that he's not dead but he's alive.
Elena, what do you think? What are your thoughts, theories?
Yeah, I don't think he's alive. Like, I'm not willing to go that far, but his ghost seems realistic enough, which means coming back is not off the table,
Hmm.
in my opinion. I just thought like the conversation, and especially Liam's side of the conversation, was very clearly not Violet talking to herself. Like the stuff about Sloane, where he was like, "Yeah, Sloane can be difficult, but give her time." Like it was just very Liam.
I totally agree with you, Elena. And I think that, like taking a step back, I recognize this is a book being written by an author that obviously also wrote Liam, so like it could just be very realistic, a very realistic hallucination. And I will say, even if it is a hallucination, I thought that that scene was so touching. Like there were definitely tears in my eyes, and like I did not cry when Liam died, and I was like getting teary over hallucination Liam. So that was a
Aww.
moment. Um, but I agree with you. I feel like this was too specific, and I am hoping that Rebecca is doing something else with it. Jamie, before you had caught up, that I'm wondering if this is possibly Violet's second signet power. I don't know if she can like connect with dead people and like talk with them, but there was one specific line where when Violet is thinking things and then Liam responds to it, she's thinking something about souls wandering, and he responds, "I'm not wandering." And it struck me as very specific, and I'm wondering if it's because like Liam's shade is still there because he has a lot of unfinished business, like between the rebellion, between his sister. Like I think that if Liam were an actual spirit, he has a lot to stick around for and like to be there for Violet and for his sister to try to help them. And I'm just wondering if it's something where like Violet can now like commune with him, possibly through Andarna's signet power. I don't know.
Be really cool.
It would be super cool because I would take Spirit Liam over Dead Liam any day.
For real.
Yeah.
I disagree, but that's just because I think her signet power has to do with like the weird metal thing. Because I feel like, did we ever get an explanation for the weird metal knife thing that happened when they were escaping the interrogation room?
No.
Okay. I read it twice just to make sure I wasn't, like, misinterpreting it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like when they were exiting the interrogation room, something about her dagger, which is the dagger that can kill the venom, and I don't know if it's that the door was made with, like, the same metal of the wards and it, like, interacted with it somehow. I don't know.
I don't know. I figured that was something to do with whatever her power is, just because we've been
Oh.
assuming for so long that her power has something to do with the wards, and it's made from the same stuff as the wards.
Mm.
I don't know.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah,
Because like
like,
I think
maybe
I
she can
caught that.
channel. Mm.
Yeah. Because there was like the in the first book where, oh, the daggers are the only thing that can kill the Vanine. Well, no,
Mm.
she can too with her thunder.
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
you're onto something, Elena.
that's a
Oh,
really good catch. I had thought it was specifically the dagger and not Violet. I thought it was, like, just the metal of the dagger, but that is a really good catch.
I mean, it could have been. I
Mm.
would have to go back and reread it a third time to see if
Yeah,
that is the
but
case. Like, if that, like, how it that seems to lean. But
I love that though because we've got 2 possibilities of, like,
mhm,
Violet somehow getting, like, a preview of what her other signet is going to be,
mhm.
which I think brings us to Andarna. How are we all feeling about Andarna's very extended dreamless sleep?
I thought it was weird on the, like, very last page or very second to last page when they were like, "And Terrence flew away before she could even look at Andarna," and I was like, "So what was there to see? Like, if he hadn't flown away so fast, what would she have seen?"
How big
Yeah.
is she now?
Right, right, and I feel like you could have caught that with, like, a very quick glance, like a size thing, but I also caught that, Elena, like, is there something else physically happening with Andarna that Taryn is, like, doesn't want Violet to see, or that we're not supposed to see yet as readers? Very suspicious.
Yeah.
There were times when like Violet was in trouble and I thought she would and Darna would come and save her.
Mhm. She's just so sleepy right now.
Yeah. But I'm
Um,
sure we'll see something like that and maybe in the next section.
yeah, it seems like something's happening, right? Because that, like, this has really never happened before. This, like, very extended dreamless sleep. And it makes me wonder if, like, Andarna using her powers before she was an adult has somehow, like, changed this process for her, and if it will maybe just make her more powerful and have, like, some extra, like, I don't know, have extra to do with, like, Violet's signet that comes from Andarna.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like we just didn't get enough of Andarna in this section at all. I
Yeah.
needed more Andarna.
Yeah. We need more sassy in Darna.
Yeah, I've been missing her and just, like, the dragons in general. Like, Taryn still had some really great moments, but I was like, I miss Andarna. Like, she needs to get back. So I hope she wakes up soon.
Did they
Yeah.
say what her
Um,
tail was?
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
did
didn't they
they?
say she's also a clubtail?
I thought I thought
No,
Taryn.
I'm wrong. It was one of the first years, one of the
Mhm,
dragons that they bonded. I think it was Sloane's dragon. Taryn was saying,
mhm.
like, "Oh, also a clubtail," or no, because hers was a dagger tail. Who am I thinking of? Who's
I think
also
you
a?
are thinking. Well, Eric got a dragon.
Maybe it was Eric's dragon. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
yes, Sloane also bonded a red dagger tail, like Liam.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
you think it's possible that Darna can have like a tail that no one else had a record of?
That could be
maybe
cool.
That would be
That's a
firecracker
cool.
good guess.
tail,
Lightning tail.
Hammer tail?
hammer tail. Yeah, I like that.
I just had a thought.
Mm.
What if Violet can see the dead and she can do something with metal? Because, like, I feel like there's going to be another power that has to do with, like, her hair. And I feel like being able to see the
Mm.
dead would make sense if she had like come close to death with her illness.
Hmm. That's a really good thought, Elena. And like maybe that's possibly how like Andarna's difference like manifests. Maybe it's like
Hmm.
Violet gets three signets because she's amazing. Or it maybe it does have something to do with like her hair and
Hmm.
what happened to her in the past. Speaking of which, it made me think of oh no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, what were you gonna say? I want to know
Oh,
if you were gonna say what I
I
was
was gonna
thinking.
go straight to Mama Sorengale. Like I need to break that down.
Do it.
I was gonna go to the sage, but like I think Mama Sorrengail makes
Oh,
more sense.
well, Mama Sorengale, but then we definitely need to talk about the sage. That was like on the top of my list for things that we need to discuss. Yeah, so we got like the Mama Sorengale breakdown on what like had happened in the past. And I don't know about you guys, but I was extremely unsatisfied. And I don't know if it's just like I'm just gonna be
Extremely.
unsatisfied or if there's more coming. Like what were you guys thinking?
Reading through it, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're getting somewhere. Like, we're heading somewhere. She's good." And then it kind of just like fell flat.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, it
very
was so hype.
unsatisfying. Yeah.
Like
And
she
then
came, she was gonna save Violet. It was so exciting,
yeah,
and
and then she said the
then
wrong thing.
When she had her knife to Garrick's throat and then was like, "Oh, okay," and like let it go, I was like, "Yes, Mom is part of the revolution. This is going to be great. She's going to tell us about how she's been like working on this in the background the whole time." And then she's just like, "Yeah, no, I like knew, but you know, as a mom, you make your choices, and I just put you in the writer's quadrant because I knew you'd figure it out if you were in the scribe quadrant, and like I didn't want you to die, but." I guess I also made it so that you still figured it out, and now our nation is super fucked. And I was like, Mom, you could have been so much more.
She could have been so much more. And I was kind of right that she like wanted to put Violet in the writer's corner to give her the best possible, you know, way to survive in
Yeah,
this war. But it's just, it's just disappointing. So
yeah. I thought that was
I don't know.
nice. Like, I liked that explanation of why she went in the writer's quadrant. Like, it made me feel a little bit better than, like, she just put Violet in the writer's quadrant because she, like, thinks all of her kids need to be writers. Like, I loved that she was like, no, I loved your father and he was a scribe. Like, it wasn't that. It's just, I knew you were too smart. So, like, I liked that. But then she's like, oh,
Yeah,
also, like, it was all me that, made Zayden promise to take care of you and stuff. And I'm like,
we had such high
why?
hopes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'm at the point where I'm assuming that either she hasn't told Violet the whole truth and that there's more,
Hmm.
or that she gets cooler in another book or like later in this book. Like, but I don't know if she's still like pretending to be part of the resistance or if she's really just lame. And she might just be lame.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I think she's gonna Papa Archer on herself in book 3.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't love it, but I'm hoping that
yeah,
more will be coming that will make me retroactively not dislike it as much as I did.
agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like really
Bummer.
glad that she didn't stop them. Like it could have been way worse. She could have like gone full evil and been like no and then like killed Garrick and then I would have just stopped reading immediately. Yeah. But yeah, the oh my goodness. What's his name? The sage. I was like the scout, the sage. Yes, the sage.
You mean the dream that was definitely a dream?
Right, the dream that was definitely a dream. That's literally is that my note? Where is my note? Sage
Real,
dream.
please.
Real or fake? Question mark. Elena, what do you think?
Definitely a dream.
Definitely a
No
dream.
possible. No, definitely him coming in her mind somehow. Specifically the whole we've been waiting years for someone like centuries. Was it centuries for
A
someone like
long
you? Like
time.
a long time for someone to be born like you. And what that means, TBD. Still think it's connected to the wards.
with your power, and it's like it cannot be the lightning. It is definitely something else. What it is for sure, I don't know, but yeah, it's not the lightning. What about you, Jamie? What do you think?
No idea.
Sage good guy redemption arc?
You know, the whole battle in the first book where they're fighting off the Vanine, I thought there is a redemption for them. Like maybe they're really like good guys or something that we don't know about. But the whole time it's like, oh no, they're bad. But I don't know, maybe
Jamie,
I'm wrong.
did you think there was going to be a redemption arc just because you like Wyvern?
I did think they would have a redemption arc too.
I think they're pretty evil, but I love that, yeah, like there's maybe we
Wait,
just suck
no.
magic out of the ground. NBD.
Only Navarre
Maybe
things are bad. and hit it.
Maybe Violet's power isn't word related. Maybe it's magic related. Like she is like a magic source. Because I feel like they would want that since they drained that whole section of land completely of magic.
That's a really good thought, Elena. Yeah, like thinking about what would they want, and it's more power, like more magical juice that they can suck up. Interesting. Or on the other hand, they definitely want to get inside the wards, right? So if she has the ability to somehow like create or like uncreate wards, like maybe that's also it, because they could use her to get inside of Navarre to get to the breeding grounds to get their big old magical juice box.
Maybe. But the words at this point are kind of already falling, so I don't know if they need her unless they're just looking to expedite the words falling.
Yeah, that's a really good thought, though. Yeah.
I don't know. Just because I think that they've indicated a few times that the like word metal is somehow more magic. I don't know. I can't do the thoughts, but maybe.
Well, and Zayden has said in the past that it's partially the metal, but it's also partially having the power to like imbue the metal, like to do the ward thing. So
there was
it's
also
partially
a weird casual reference of like eggshells being in the metal, like dragon eggshells.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Which
it's like a
feel
in
like
the
they would have
alloy.
magic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And it's interesting now that like a bunch of the dragons are now flying to Aretia. So it's possible that we are going to like figure out how to make the word stone work there and then create the words around it. What do you guys think? Like, is the journal going to tell them what to do? Like, are they going to be able to get that going? Unclear.
Maybe they'll start on it, but isn't Aretia like right now? Aretia is outside the word, right? Like it's outside the normal word.
Yeah.
Yes, but they have
right.
their own word stone from where
No.
the dragons used to breed there.
Yeah. So, yeah. But my thought is more when Violet's out of the words, the Venom are gonna come for her before they have a chance to get the word stone up potentially.
Yeah, that's possible.
Just if
Violet,
my guy's creeping on her.
yeah, and we haven't seen him again. It was just that one time, right? I'm not forgetting a second time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely due for another sage meeting, dream meeting, real meeting. Violet keeps talking about going and getting the luminary too from what's his face dictator over somewhere.
Yeah, bad guy who will definitely try and kidnap her.
Yeah, weird, creepy. Like I have to assume like thing that's like, yeah, I just want to like see her wield lightning just real fast. Like definitely not try to like keep her, do something weird. So I don't know if they're gonna try to do that. Maybe.
You know, there's always a lot of good guy collectors in books.
I just want to see the little girl with the superpower. Promise not to touch. Yeah, it's definitely creepy. It's not going to be good.
Definitely.
Do you guys think they'll get there? Like, is that a scene that is coming? Because I have to admit, I have no idea what the next half
Yeah.
of this book is about. No clue.
Um, yeah, I feel like it would make sense if they do, like, if that's part of it. I just also kind of assumed since so many of them are cadets, they're gonna set up, like, a rival Bosnia
That's a great idea.
and keep
Yeah.
training.
Have to, right?
Um,
Like, they're possibly flying off with, like, first years. They definitely are flying off with
yeah,
first years,
they
like
are.
Eric and Sloane, and yeah.
Yeah. I need to know if Jack joined the rebellion. I just need to know if my guy is still gonna be a problem.
Guys, the
He's still
number
gonna
of
be a problem.
yeah. The number of expletives I said, I think, out loud and in my head when it was like, "Look who's back, everybody. It's Jack Barlow." I was like, "I'm sorry, what now? What?"
I think we all, like, text each
Um,
other, like, "What the F?"
I'm sorry, what? Like, does anyone have an idea? Because there's no way, again, like, because I do really think that Rebecca is a great writer. So what is his deal? Why is he here? Why did Nolan and Varish bring him back?
He's gonna be, like, brainwashed, right?
Yes.
Like, they put something in him, and he's like a little puppet.
Yeah. I'm
Got
very worried.
And
yeah.
then he saved her? He
Yeah.
saved her? What?
Nope.
Uh-uh.
It's all part of the master plan.
I'm just so confused because I feel like normally I have a pretty strong opinion on like whether or not someone's gonna be good or bad, or like even if it's wrong, I just feel very strongly. And Jack, I genuinely I like don't have any idea because I agree. It seems like they like mind like puppeted him. So then is it he's faking being good, or is he really good and then he's gonna be mind puppeted to be bad, or is he bad and he's being mind puppeted to be good, or is he not mind puppet? Like I have no idea what's going on with him. And Varish was like, "Oh, he'll be so excited to murder her," and I'm like, "Is that just Varish's like perspective? Is that real?" Because he's I'm baffled.
Same. Yeah. Jamie, what do you think? Is he good? Is he bad? Do we trust him?
Definitely don't trust him.
Yeah.
If the author is trying to make him, like, be good, this is not enough. Like, we need to see more because 'cause I'm still suspicious of him.
Yeah, I'm also very suspicious. And I don't know if like he consciously, like if Jack consciously knows what his purpose is, or if he's like a sleeper cell now that's been programmed by Varish and Nolan. But I do not trust him at all. Am very, very concerned. Very concerned.
But that's what confuses me because I was so suspicious of him, like so suspicious of him when he was nice, and then they threw in the oh no, he's evil thing, and there's just too many conflicting like
There have been two mentions now about him wanting to do bad to Violet. Nolan said it the first time when he drugged her. He said that Jack saw you coming up here. So like
oh I
and
missed
again,
that one.
like this is a bunch of people I don't trust. So do we trust that Nolan is telling the truth? And if not, why would Nolan say that to try to like get Violet to be suspicious of Jack? But then yeah, and Varish says like Jack would probably be super excited to kill you, and then talks about like using him and his, tortury signet to come and like torture her. So I don't know. I think they programmed him. I think that he is programmed to kill Violet somehow, do something awful to her. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't believe in this
Yeah,
redemption arc.
No. No. It's
I'm so
just too
disappointed
fake.
in Nolan.
That was such a bummer. Like Nolan, really? Really?
It feels like Rebecca was setting up some of these professors too.
Oh yeah.
Like Kaori, that was definitely we knew that we could trust.
Yeah.
Who's the one that does the sparring? Amaretto or something?
I think it's
Like it was
Emma
this
Terrio.
Amarito.
Amerito, the one he was like it was really sweet. It was a really sweet scene. I remember it being a
Yes.
really sweet scene, and he was just being like, you're I can't pick favorites,
Yes.
but
If I had a favorite student, I might warn them. Yeah.
My note is
Professor Deborah.
Amarito is a bro.
Yeah, him and Deborah, she's the female battle brief
Mhm.
professor, and I thought it was so badass that she was the one that put out the propaganda pamphlet,
Yeah.
um, about
Like, that
trying
was
to
a nice
teach it.
surprise.
So good. I loved that, especially, like, her next to Markham being awful, and yeah, I loved that we could trust some of the professors and that they're going with them.
Yeah. It was surprising to see the switch too. The professors that we thought were like, "Oh, no, they're definitely good," like Markham and Nolan
Yeah.
turned out to be bad.
So sad. Yeah. Do either of you remember who Nolan is married to? I'm just remembering that he's married to someone.
Another, mender or healer. It was in the
Yeah.
first book.
Okay.
I
But
can't
not one
remember
of
her
the other
name.
professors.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did we just like did a relationship just split up because of the the conflict? But yeah, more to what you were
I
saying,
feel
Elena, like we've got some professors, so we've got to be setting up some classes and stuff to
mhm.
teach more strategy. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like I don't know. I don't think maybe I'm reading into it, but I don't know if we got all of like it feels like Nolan's still being shady, like outside
Mm,
of capturing Violet. Like she keeps talking about how exhausted he still looks, but Jack's been back for like weeks at this point.
yep.
So why is Nolan still exhausted?
Hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
That's a
There's
good
something still
catch.
super shady going on. I
I
don't
at
know
first
what.
thought it was just because of all the torturing. He has to mend the the cadets that had been tortured, but you're right, there could be more.
And even if he's mending the people that Dane is practicing on, because I know Varish mentioned that too, like Dane is practicing with the townspeople to like go
Mhm.
further into memories. It still doesn't add up.
And and Nolan also wasn't even healing Violet's torture that much. And I can't imagine they were really torturing, like focusing on torturing a bunch of other people in addition to Violet. It seemed like they a lot of their time was on Violet, but she was like, "Oh, and Nolan's really tired, like my bone keeps breaking."
Yeah.
Can I just say that was really tough to read?
Both of the torture scenes, like the minute they got taken for the first like torture practice, I was just like, do we have to? Is this yeah, so uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But like
Really
well
ick.
written at the same time, I will say. Like I think it was dealt with well, both of them.
Yeah,
How
and
did you
I did a
feel Oh, go on, Elena.
no, how do we feel about what?
With Violet killing off Varys?
Is the question, do I think he's dead?
It's a two-parter.
I'm concerned he's not dead, personally. I do love Violet killing him. Like I think that was very appropriate after everything he's done to her.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I agree. I don't think he's dead. I just think he left too many like open-ended things, and also Nolan stayed behind, and apparently Nolan can just bring back dead people now. Um,
Great point.
That is a really great point, Elena. I hadn't figured out how Varish could survive like the almost mortal wound to his side and then the very mortal wound to his heart. But yeah, Nolan's still there, isn't he?
mhm.
Okay. Yeah, Varish is definitely alive.
I'll be back.
Yeah, he had that weird, annoying comment where he was like, "And I know all of Zayden's weaknesses, and I'm gonna use them," and then he never used them. So,
Yeah, unless it's like a setup for some sort of conversation between Xaden and Violet, where Violet's like, "Oh, while I was getting my shit pushed in by Varish, like he mentioned, he found out what your weakness is. Like, care to share?" But yeah, I agree with you that I think it's definitely something more than that, and I think Varish is coming back again. We have an entire half of a book left. Like, he's in here. He's in here somewhere.
well, and then three more, right? If he's not in here,
And, like, maybe he's dead. Maybe he's dead. And, like, I think that that would be fine because I do feel like he did enough awful and then, like, Violet ended him, and that was good. But I wonder.
Mhm. I think it could have been like two parts, saying like he knows what Zayden's weakness is. I think that he does know an exact weakness, but also that Violet is his weakness because he did come all this way to save her, and I was kind of surprised that he did,
Yeah.
but
And I
glad that he
mean,
did.
yeah, Varish did say that, he was using Violet as bait. So maybe that's
Yeah.
like in a roundabout way he was telling us that. But I agree with you, Elena. It seems like there might be room for that. But yeah, Xaden came all the way to save Violet. You were surprised, JB? I was surprised he took so
Well,
long.
because I was banking on Andarna.
Gotcha. You were like, Black Dragon, One Skull Dragon is coming. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like the minute that Violet started thinking through, again, like not Violet, Liam started thinking through with Violet that Taryn would obviously know immediately something was wrong and then tell Sigale, who would tell Xaden. Like, I was just surprised that Xaden had such a good plan coming in, like that he didn't just immediately like charge right in. Like he had a plan. Elena, what were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
You were so
That
excited.
was
I
my
started
that was my fast motion. That was Zayden moving.
Xaden moving fast. Yeah. I think that he did a really good job with like, setting up the distraction at the border of them dropping the dead
Yeah.
wyverns on top of the outpost. I was like, oh, beautiful. He's like, it just
So
took us a while to find them. It's like, yeah.
I
That
also
was a good
loved
one.
that her squad had tried to save her the day before.
The squad. We need to talk about the squad. I will admit that I was so wrong about Ree. Like, what I got so nervous, and then she was just like, "Brooke, you are wrong. I am best friends with Violet, and I would never ever go against her." I was like, "You're right. I was wrong." I was so proud of all of them.
So proud.
Yeah, I
And I'm
did get
glad that she
immediately. Yeah,
tell them the truth. Glad it's
yes,
all out there. And it was funny
that's
how
what
Zayden reacted.
That's what I was gonna say. I got immediately nervous when Ree like helped her out by taking the dagger out of her jacket, out of Zayden's jacket, and like warping it into the room. And then Violet's like, "I'm just gonna tell you everything," and I was like, "Oh god, oh god!" But then it just went so well. All three of them were like, "Oh man, why didn't you tell us this before? Like, what? Where do we sign up?"
I was so worried when Redoc went to like the library for her when she was like, "Oh, I can't go meet Justina," and I was like, "Redoc, no, please don't! Like, why is this a thing? Like, why are we talking about this? What's he gonna do?" And then the fact it was just that it was a setup for Violet to die, and then I was on one hand sad because another one of the rebels died. So I think we're down
Yeah.
to 5. Um,
Yeah, we've lost Kieran, Mason, Aya. Basically, like we've lost all the randos
mhm.
The
of
randos.
of
Yep.
the group,
I was
which
gonna
is
say, like, how
fine.
do you remember their names?
They're back here.
But doesn't it make you worried for like the OG squad? Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very, very worried. So worried.
Don't
Well,
worry.
less now that they're out,
Yeah.
like I was worried, but now I think they're pretty far out of Dane's dad's reach. I would
That's
hope.
true. Like everything's out in the open now, so there's less of a need to like kill them specifically. But we don't know. Like Dane's dad might still be like pretty butthurt about everything that's gone on. So he might be trying to.
Dane's dad's gonna be so butthurt when he finds out his son.
Betrayed.
Guys, guys, I was so proud of Dane. I didn't want to be, and I was.
Is that something you ever saw yourself saying?
No. There's a sound clip somewhere that's definitely something along the lines of "I will never forgive Dane ever, ever, ever." And now I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh
I think
no."
you did say that.
Like, wow. He's still like dumb AF. but he made the right judgment call and it did not take much convincing. So I'm super proud of him.
He did. I was getting ready to like super eye roll when he got to the part where it was like, "You should trust me, Violet. You should trust me."
Yeah.
I was gonna be so
Prove me wrong.
angry. So
He did the right thing.
He
But
did.
yeah, I'm still upset with him because he did say that, he knew he was giving the information to his dad. It's just that he didn't know that his dad was going to set up a death trap. So it's like, okay, I'm not as angry as I was with you at the end of Fourth Wing. But at the same time, like, no, Violet shouldn't have trusted you. Like, you did betray her still. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was, but like, you still betrayed her.
yeah, and I'm kind of like, I think it is kind of not payback. What's it called? Like, it's justice that she forces him to watch what happened to Liam, because Liam was
Yeah.
not necessarily his friend, but like they were on the same squad. Like they knew each other all year.
Yeah.
At the very least, they were close acquaintances. So he was forced to see what his actions literally led to.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like responsive to that though. Did you guys get that sense when you read it?
I think it was acting. I think he was trying to make it seem like he hadn't seen what he'd seen in Violet's memories, and then that's when he
Hmm.
shanked Varish. So I think he was still playing a part. But yeah, I'm guessing that it
I wish
did,
I'd seen something. Yeah.
yeah. I think he saw what Violet wanted him to see. Because I mean, he would have had to have seen part of it because that's how he realized like this whole thing about the venom and everything, and then made the decision to go over to the other side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or like out of probably all the characters, he would probably deserve a redemption arc. Not Jack.
No,
Not Jack.
not Jack. Yeah, I can entertain a redemption arc for Dane at this point. I can say that I
Yeah.
was wrong. Um, he didn't know that Violet was possibly going to get killed, and like everybody else. So that was really good writing on Rebecca's part.
Mhm.
And now it makes me wonder, like, who Dane's gonna potentially end up with. Well,
I
I don't know.
oh,
Any thoughts? Any hopes?
faces.
Any any people we definitely
He
don't want
has
him to
a
get near?
he has a thing for scribes.
Oh no.
No, thank you.
Justinia. Oh, speaking of Justinia, did you guys catch there was like a scene where Sawyer specifically wanted to go to the archives?
Yeah,
Did you guys catch that?
Oh no, I didn't.
You guys catch that?
that's what I was going to say. Is I hope it's Sawyer personally.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just that
Interesting
one
take.
scene.
Interesting take. I still hope it's Liam.
Oh, I don't think he's alive, but that'd be so great.
It would be. I was kind of rooting for them, even though there was like nothing.
Yeah.
Hear me out. I'm going off a single line. The fact we never found out who Liam hooked up with the day before he died. And we knew there was tension there. So I'm just there's it could be a
It
But how
wasn't
is he
really
alive?
confirmed though that he hooked up with Eight or even hooked up with her.
It wasn't confirmed that he did, but it was heavily insinuated that he had
It
spent
was,
a night
yeah.
in someone's bed.
That or
and then
felt
they didn't
guilty.
never bothered saying whose, so
Yeah.
feels like we
Yeah.
should find that out.
I keep wondering who Ree's gonna end up with too, because I think that Tara is now like too obvious. Like they keep being on again, off again. I'm like,
Mhm.
who's Ree gonna end up with?
She hooked up with Sawyer too, but
Did
that
she?
kind of
Mhm.
fell fast.
Right.
Who's
Yeah.
Imogen with right now? It's Imogen and Quinn, right?
No, they're just
No.
friends because Imogen's got a crush on Garrick.
Yes,
Oh, that's what
Zayden made a
it is.
comment about that in the last book, but we haven't seen them like interact much together.
Right. I'm hoping that's going to be in the next half. Because if Imogen and Garrick don't work out, I keep wondering if Ree and Imogen would get together, which I'd be down for.
Guys, we need a relationship tree to like.
You know what would be okay? Nothing has been hinted, but I'm trying to like pair characters together.
Yeah.
What about Bodhi and Riddick?
Mhm. Hot. 10 out of 10 would read. Yeah.
Speaking of like another relationship, um, what are your thoughts on Catriona? Is it Catriona?
I think it's Catriona.
Catriona. Thoughts.
Yeah.
I forgot about her.
So she is the sister of
Yeah.
Serena, one of the Griffin, like they're Griffin riders. Can I just go off?
When?
Yes,
When?
you
How?
can.
Where?
Take it, Jamie.
Honestly, I was like, kind of annoyed, not with her, but with Zayden, because he didn't prep Violet at all. Be like, hey, by the way, we're meeting my ex-girlfriend.
Maybe he
And
didn't
then
know for
Violet,
sure that she would be
but then
coming.
Violet didn't say anything to him about it.
No, she did.
Well,
She
she
did.
did, but like not satisfactory to my
No, she was like, I'm just gonna let it go.
Yeah.
The past is the past, but I understand that, but like, give us more.
Yeah. On the one hand, I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't like there wasn't any more of it. It was like literally Zayden was just like, I dated her in the past. I see your face, Elena, and I'll get to the second half. I'm glad that it didn't happen then. Like, because I think that it was just like, yeah, okay, jealous ex, totally get it. She's still hung up on you. You're hot. Yeah, that checks out. And he was like, I wasn't with her when I met you. So it was like right then and there, I love that she just had the respect for him to just be like, okay. But now we're getting to the part where like Catriona is definitely going to come back up. So it's, there's got to be like a Violet getting a little more detail about, so like, how'd that end? Like, what happened? Because you're clearly not over him. So
I want her to like declare her love for him and just be like, yo, that's my man. Stop it.
that'd be great.
Or even Zayden to like do that.
Have they both said the L word now? Because Zayden told Violet that he loved her, and
she
I think
said
she
it
said
back.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like publicly.
No.
Yeah. In front of the
Yeah.
exes. Like with
In
Dane
front of
and
the
Catriona
exes.
standing there, just be like, this is my
What
person.
if they get together?
That was my face. I don't think it's gonna be the two of them. I think it's gonna be her sister. Because Dane is gonna fall in love with his enemy. Like, that's gonna be part of Dane's redemption arc. That's
I
my
do
current
love
theory.
that. Dane could
I
be with
kind of like that
Catriona.
too.
Or Serena.
No, not with Catriona. What's her sister? Serena? I think it's gonna be Serena.
Is it Serena?
Feels weird to have him date Zayden's ex.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, I do love the idea of Dane being with a Griffin rider. That'd be awesome.
Yo, enemies to lovers.
Yeah, buddy. I'm okay with Dane just being fully like, I was wrong. I will now be a good person. Just yeah. Yeah. How do we feel about Mira? What are our thoughts on Mira? I'm still nervous about Mira, and I hope that I'm also wrong. But like, there's got to be somebody that doesn't come to the rebellion that we're like really upset about.
She still doesn't know, right?
No.
She doesn't know about the Vanine or Brennan.
Nope. At least as far as we know, she doesn't know. And they had that one scene where Violet goes to Samara, which I loved the side of how Zayden greeted her, which we can talk about later. But when no, we're talking about it now. When Violet goes to Samara and Zayden like rushes up to her and like in her head, he's like, you need to put on a show. Like, you need to do it now. Like, if you want to be in my room tonight, you need to like full commitment. And they just like mac it in front of everybody. And then Mira is there. She got restationed at Samara and had been saying that Violet was going to stay with her. And Zayden was being like, no, we're together. She's staying with me. But that was still when they were fighting. So He was like, "If you don't
That
make it
was cute.
convincing." Yeah. I
Yeah.
loved that. I was like, "Oh, I'm into this forced proximity, moment."
Yeah.
Yeah, but so she and Mira go and, like, have their little chat while they're throwing daggers at targets, where Violet, like, tries to bring it up, and Mira very much is like, "No." Like, so I wonder.
You think she knows?
No, I don't think she knows, and I think that when she finds out, she is not going to join the side of the rebellion, like, I'm worried.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think there's a
I'm
chance she
worried.
knows now, because weren't the wyvern dropped at all the, like, border guards, and isn't
Yeah.
she on a border guard?
She
She'll
is.
know
So
now.
right, like, where we're at, she probably knows now, we haven't seen that scene yet.
It's kind of weird that she doesn't know because of her signet power.
Mm,
I'm surprised like they haven't taken
True.
advantage of it
that's true. Maybe she does.
because her signet power is related to wards.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope that I'm
I
anxious for no reason, because my thought is, like, if she realizes that her dead, now alive brother and her sister who she loves are, like, all in this rebellion, that she will join them. Just, I don't know.
yeah.
Her mom is
I
like
don't
semi-dead.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you
I still
thinking,
don't know
Elena?
whether or not to trust Brennan. Like, Brennan seems so trustworthy, but Sigale still didn't like him, so
Wow. I wonder if it's, like, maybe not that Brennan has, like, bad ulterior motives, or that he's just, like, he's fallible like anybody else, but
mhm.
yeah, I agree with you, because we really haven't seen Brennan again since we talked about him the last time, because, like, we just got back and then the part cut, so
Yeah.
We
we've gotta
keep
get more
getting
Brennan.
Brennan cliffhangers.
Yeah. Brennan
I
block.
did consider reading ahead to get more Brennan.
No. Um, yeah, I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for things that he says and does. Who else? Um,
Eric. Eric for King 2023.
yeah, Eric. I love Eric.
I
He
like
just
him
seemed really
too.
cool. I loved his immediate hate of Xaden, because Xaden killed his brother, which I was like, well, oops.
So how many brothers is it? Because two of them are dead, right? One died from threshing, one from Zayden. How
No, no,
many?
no. It's
No,
the same
it's the
one.
same guy.
Yes. So it's that we
Oh, so
finally,
Zayden killed him at threshing?
yeah. So the one that they mentioned died at threshing. We basically find out that Xaden killed him when he went to
Oh,
kill
okay.
Eric, but the king doesn't know. And I guess, like, Eric knows, because Xaden's like, well, if the king knew, I'd be dead by now. But
Oh, for some reason I thought it was like a dragon or something. But ooh, tensions.
Have
oops.
we gotten the backstory on why Eric hates his dad? Like, or is the only comment we've gotten that the only person he hates more than Zayden is his dad?
We haven't gotten more information, I don't think. I think it was just heavily insinuated that he found out, like, it was impossible for him not to know about, like, what was going on across the border, and that he doesn't agree with his dad's stance on it.
But that's not enough of a reason to hate him more than Zayden. Like, there has to be more there.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Did he say that he hates him more than Zayden?
Yeah, because when they asked him to
Mm.
help, he said, "Luckily for you guys, the only person I hate more than Zayden is my dad." So then he
Mm.
agreed to mess with his dad.
Yes, there probably has to be more there. His
Um,
dad seems like a
yeah.
tool, so
Well, and then he basically described his older brother as a wet blanket. So
yeah. Well, his yeah, whatever brother is in
mhm,
line for the
yeah,
throne, he said that he is very pro Navarre's stance, so nothing would change when he took the throne.
mhm.
Yeah, but I don't know how many other siblings he has. Sure.
But he's the youngest, right?
I don't know. They just said he was the third. So I think we now
Okay.
know, like, the oldest died, Satan killed him, and then the second in line is pro Navarre, and then Eric is third.
Okay.
Yeah. But I like him. I like him a lot. I like that he helped Violet and the group. He seems like a real team player, and it seems like he genuinely cares about what's going on and like wants to make a difference. So really like him.
It, and him and Violet get along, which is super cute. Like a real childhood friend.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's nice because they have
Cute.
a similar past to her and Dane. But yeah, Eric's the better version. Maybe Eric and Sloane will date. Mm,
Or Eric and
Maybe.
Bree. Bree for queen.
seriously though, Reefer Queen.
Oh
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we leave off with Sloane?
I think it was like mentioned that she was going with them to
Yeah.
um Aratia.
I don't know if they mentioned her specifically, but they mentioned the fact their entire squad was going, which would,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. They mentioned again that the first years of their squad are like the Iron Squad again, once again. Just the Iron Squad. Making me
I, li-
nervous.
I laughed out loud when Dane was trying to get everyone's attention to explain what was going on. It didn't work, so then Zayden had to do it.
No one listens to Dane. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting that, and like it made sense, but like the whole, if your dragon hasn't told you the memories, then they've already picked a side and they're like, this doesn't apply to you.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I guess it makes sense because if your dragon's not going to go with you, you can't go. But maybe
Mhm.
there's like room for the humans to convince their dragons, maybe. No,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
right. But yeah, I
The
think I think that was like everything that I had written down. Um,
the only other note I had was the freaking Tearish knot weaving book that
oh,
Zayden's having her do. No, not in an all way. In a weird that I literally started highlighting all, not actually highlighting, but like marking all the times they use the word weaving. Because anytime they talk about the words, they also call it weaving. So it just seems really sus to me that like she's just casually learning how to weave Tearish knots,
mm.
and then they just also are using the word weaving to talk about the words.
No, that's very insightful, Elena, because they also mention that the symbol on the daggers is one of the Tirish knots.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, I think that it's totally likely that the original Wardstone was at Aratia. Like that's where the black dragons
Hmm.
bred and that it probably worked and maybe it's that the Tirish were the ones that figured out like the magic of creating
Hmm.
the wards.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
I
was
think
in
that
the
makes
iron
sense
box.
too.
What is in the iron box? What's in the box? Is it a bunch of yarn? We need to know.
Or that runestone in Zayden's dresser.
Hmm. No, I mean, I think that's
Well,
a
and
really good thought, Elena, that that could be where it's going toward.
Zayden even says at one point, like he says it at the book at one point. She's like, "Why are you making me do this book?" And he's like, "Could be important one day."
I mean, he does say that it's like him trying to share his culture with her. So I don't know for sure that he's keeping something, but maybe he is. I mean, this whole book that we've read up until now was him over and over and over again saying, like, I
Keeping
won't be able to tell
secrets.
you everything. So I think that's a great theory. But I also think it's adorable on the surface that he was like, this is a part of my basically dead culture and it means a lot to me. And that she like started learning the different weaves and the knots and everything. It's like, I love
His
it.
letters were cute too.
The letters are really cute and how we get like little snippets of it every now and then at the top of the chapters.
Mhm.
Very cute. Yeah, in the back of my mind, I wonder how Jacinia got her hands on these letters and where Violet and Xaden are at this time when the book is
Oh my
being
god,
written.
totally.
But I try not to think about it too much.
It also makes me so concerned that like they're calling them like Lieutenant Rorson and Cadet Sorrengail, I'm like,
Mm,
is that just because that's what they were at the time?
I wouldn't look too far into it with that because I do think it's because that those were their titles at the time, but also I think we have to assume that like the structure of Basquiat is like done now. Like
Mhm,
they're outside of it now. Like they are officially
mhm,
part of the revolution. So she
yeah.
may forever just be a cadet in their eyes.
Speaking of war colleges, I
Yeah.
hope we get to see some of poor Emil's war college,
Yes.
where the
Well,
writers go.
it got super bombed by wyverns. But yes, I also would like to see at least like what is still existing in that
Yeah.
structure. Yeah, I had the thought, Jamie. I'm really excited, and I hope that we get a lot of that in the next half of the book. Like learning more about the Griffins and what their
Mhm.
training is like and how all that works.
We somehow have to see how the dragons and the griffins work together to
Mhm.
fight the Vinny, right? That's the end game, the goal.
Yeah. Well, because we all we get is like, oh, the Griffins can't fly that high, and like, oh, they're not as strong, and like, they don't give signets. It's like there's got to be something cool that the Griffins do. Like, are they just really good at aerial acrobatics? Like, I need to know. Need to know. Yeah.
Right. And these are all words like coming from the Namarian side. They're
Right.
not we don't actually see it firsthand.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I just don't.
Yeah.
I really honestly like could not even guess what the next chapter's about.
You wanna know how it
That
ends?
would be about Brennan.
Right. Like, it's probably something just like hanging out in Aretia and like dealing with the fallout of what just happened and hopefully figuring out like hopefully it's Mira flying in being like, okay, I'm here. This is crazy, but I'm here.
I had a random thought.
Mm.
I wrote this note down that menders can harm too. Do you think Brennan could have killed Nowlin?
Ooh, maybe.
It's a question for everyone.
I think we all said that it still seems a little suspicious. Like, we took it at face value the first time. I think we'd be fools to take it at face value the second time. So maybe there is more, but
But I still like the theory where they were in love.
I
Like,
do
it just feels like
too.
a cute theory.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
No,
we're so romantic.
I think it has more to do with Nolan than Brennan, that note. Because I think we all agree that like there's still something that Nolan is doing that is suspicious. Um, and maybe it's him hurting people. He got really tight with Varish, and that is right up Varish's alley. Yeah, so much. We didn't actually like talk about Zayden and Violet. I'm realizing. Like we talked about that one scene, but I'm gonna need to just take us there for like a hot sec.
I
Shower
did.
scene, two
Yeah.
thumbs way up.
When you were talking about like the I don't know, a scene that between Violet and Dana, I was like, which scene was it? Was it the steamy shower scene?
No, but that was good.
It was good.
Because I fully believed that Zayden was dying as she and Taryn were flying to Samara. I I wasn't afraid he was going to die, but I fully thought this was going to be the scene of like, oh my god, I almost lost you, and it made me realize that I love you. And I loved that it got flipped on its head. It was like, nah, he's fine. So funny. Way better. Like so much better. Especially when like Violet runs in and he's just sparring with Garrick, and then Garrick was basically like, I'm just gonna go over here. Like you guys do your weird thing, and I'm just gonna block your ears, Garrick. Don't go take a shower.
It was
So
hot.
good. Mm.
It was
But
good.
how were we all feeling? Jamie, I think you were getting kind of you were like at your wits end with the two of them. I will say I'll come right out and say that I think if there had been one more scene of like, I don't know if I can trust you, like, do I actually love you? Like, I think that might have been too much for me, but I think this was like the perfect amount. I think it was like just what I could handle.
Yeah. No, I think we're in a good place.
I think we are now too.
Finally.
Yeah. Elena, how did you feel? Are you loving them? Was it too much for you? Do they need to get over themselves faster?
No, it never really bothered me because I agreed with her. He was being annoying, but I also liked the reunion, so
Um,
I'm happy with it.
I really loved their scene when he came to save her. And he was just like, I will find you anywhere. And like that he said he loved her. Like, I'm glad that he just said it. Cause that was the thing that I kept thinking. I was like, Zayden, how do you not realize that like she's not saying it because she already said it first once? Like,
Right.
I agree with you and the things that you're thinking, but at the same time, this is on you, bud. Like you are going to need to say it first this time. And I'm okay with her not saying it until you do. So when just like his whole speech, I read it like 3 times and was just like, so cute. I loved it.
And when
And
he
him,
stabbed Varish, or no, like slit Nora's throat, when Dane was like, just let us pass, it'll be okay. And he was like, I didn't make any promises.
yep. The minute that happened, I was like, I know who that is. Yep. Yeah, so good. And like him almost like not handing her over to her mom. He was like, "No, I'm not leaving her." And they were both like, "Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath."
That's what also made me worried about her mom. He hates her mom so much, which like we knew, but that's the first time we've really seen them interact.
Yeah. I still don't think he hates her mom as much as he should. I think it like for the most part, I think his reaction there was mostly like Violet was just tortured for an entire week and I'm going to not let her out of my sight now. Um but yeah, I just love them. I'm glad that they're finally like in a good spot because I hope that the rest of this book will just be like mostly utter misery. So I'm just glad they're together for that.
They could be in misery together.
Hey, great. Like we've got other things we need to do. We need to stop like worrying about who's lying to who and who's not and who loves who and yeah,
We have an ex-girlfriend to deal with.
right.
So they like have open communication.
Right. Great.
Give
Yeah.
Violet some heads up.
That's what I'm excited about is I'm excited for like potentially other things to start coming up like, "Oh yeah, I also didn't tell you about this." Or like, "Oh yeah, this is how it ended with my ex-girlfriend." Or, like now Zayden and Dane having to like be closer together and that bringing up tension and just like them working it out as they go.
Like adults.
Right. Let's hope they can be adults.
Throw in another spicy scene.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for where this is going. I will admit that the end of part one happened very quickly, in my opinion. I thought like the going, like telling the rest of the world about this and going to Aretio was like the end of this book. And it just all of a sudden
Yeah.
happened. And I was like, okay, we're here. It happened in like 6 pages. Let's go. But very quick.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It's weird. Like it felt slow, but quick at the same time. Does anyone
Yeah.
else feel that way?
I kept reminding myself that Violet was literally just being tortured for a whole week and like we missed out on that time. So I get that like a
Yeah.
lot was happening to lead up to it. And I did keep reminding myself that there has been a lot like that has happened in the first half of this book and a lot of like near misses of them figuring out that this was going on. So I on the one hand I think that it probably would have been slightly unbelievable to like keeping the secret and staying at Basgiath, but on the other hand I was just like, wow, we just got, found out, we got tortured, and then we were just like, everybody come with us. Like, this is your choice now. But like, I guess it makes sense, Violet was like, we have to tell people and they have to make up their own minds. But now we're here.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Literally in my head, I kept going, Viva la Revolution! Every time
Yes.
something happened.
Yeah. It's happening. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next part.
Favorite dragon quote
Me
time?
too.
Favorite dragon quote, yes. Let's end with a favorite dragon quote. Does anyone have theirs open?
We're all like being nerdy, looking up our quotes.
Okay.
Oh, I found it.
Go ahead.
It was when they're talking about graduation requirements and they realize that Violet's not going to be able to do the like run off the dragon thing. And she goes, "You can't change graduation requirements." And he goes, "I've never tried."
He's like, we're not doing it. No one's graduating here. Love Taryn. Jamie, do you have yours?
Yes, this
ahead.
is beginning of chapter 29. This is like right after she realizes that that's the cat or Catriona.
Catriona, yeah.
Yep. So she's feeling all these things. She goes, "Kid, what is this? Jealousy, anxiety, insecurity? All three." Tanya responds in utter annoyance. To which I will remind you that not a single dragon chose her. You were selected by 2. Pull yourself together.
The strict Tarn pep talks. Oh my goodness.
He's so good at delivering them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, one of my favorites, I forget what the context of this was. Oh, they're talking about Andarna. So Violet asks, "Should I worry?" About what's going on with Andarna, and Taryn says, "Worrying changes nothing. She is guarded by the elders and is sleeping safely." And then Violet says, "I'll tell you if my punishment includes death or inconvenience," for I forget like what they had just done. And then Taryn says, "I will already know as I am continuously with you, forced to bear witness to the awkwardness that is 21-year-old humans." And Violet says, "I'll strive to make it less awkward." And then he says, "Could you do so? I would think you would have done it already." It's just like, oh, Taryn. The two of them. So cute.
Love their relationship.
Yeah. I am very excited to get more Andarna. Like, I'm not worried about her like not making it through this or something. So I know she's coming back.
She's also gonna wake up in the next section, right? Like it's time for her to wake up.
Gotta. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that it would be really sad if it was like an end of book reveal. Like I think it makes way more sense for it to be like a 3/4 like of the way through. But no, I'm hoping that in like the next few chapters she's gonna wake up and then we figure out like what is different about her and how all of that works. Yeah, I miss her. But yeah.
Wouldn't mind more sassy Sigale too.
Oh, yes, we definitely need more Sigale. That's another thing that I'm really excited for. Like all of us being in Aretia now is like I loved the needing to visit each other and like the different situations that caused. But I'm so glad that all 5 of them are going to be together again in the same place.
And I want more like squad shenanigans, but I don't know how realistic that is.
No, I mean, I think that it's pretty realistic because I would think that, they're going to need to step up to help train like the first years and, they're going to have to figure out like the new tactics of training and surviving the actual enemy that they have, like Violet mentioned that like getting on the ground is not the problem, it's getting off the ground. So, I think there's going to be a lot of, how to basically make sure that they all survive this.
The Benin boot camp.
Right.
Is that a sign for
You mean
everyone to take a
survival
bet on
boot
who the next death is?
Oh,
Wait, what, Elena?
When you said there's training to make sure they all survive this, I thought, should we take bets on who doesn't? Who next? Who's next? There's definitely someone next.
Jack? Dane?
Varish again? Varish part 2?
Varish
There's again.
Varish again. If Varish is still alive, I feel like he either dies at the end of this book for realsies or is like a persisting villain. God, I don't know who's gonna die next, honestly, because I just really don't know like what the plot is now going into this. But I just have a bad feeling that like the whole squad can't make it out of this, or like they do, but at the cost of a lot of other people. So I'm just worried about. I'm worried about the core four. Yeah.
Jeez.
But since I don't want to think about that anymore, this was awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And next week, what chapters are we reading? Are we doing the first half of part 2? I think. Where did I write
That's
that
a
down?
great question. What did Matt tell us to do?
Oh, that is a good question. Oh,
Check the reel. Just watch
30,
watch
30
the
seconds.
reel.
Just check the reel. That's how we figure out what our homework is. 37 through 53 is the next chunk. Yeah, so 37 through 53. And then we'll meet back here and talk about all of the ridiculous stuff that I'm guessing happened. And maybe no one dies.
Were we right? Were we wrong?
Probably wrong, but knock
Is
on
Jack a
wood.
good guy?
Ugh, no, there's got to be something weird with him. I just,
Yeah.
I don't like it. All
I got
right,
chills.
fingers crossed not too many people die in the next few chapters. But we will chat with you guys next week. Bye.